Force yourself to build a strong mindset. That's what I'm here to talk about today. We all want success in life, but it requires cultivating the right mental toughness and resilience. It's not as simple as just wanting it. You have to put in the work to transform your mindset. The human mind is incredibly powerful, yet most of us let it run on autopilot for much of our lives. We absorb disempowering beliefs and thought patterns from those around us without questioning them. Before you know it, you're living a life of self-imposed limitations without even realizing the change around you. But I'm here to snap you out of that trance, to shake you awake to the incredible untapped potential simmering inside you at this very moment. You have the power to rewrite your mindset script from the ground up. It won't be easy, but nothing worthwhile ever is. The path to an empowered mindset starts with taking full responsibility for your life. As long as you're blaming others, circumstances, your upbringing, anything outside of yourself, you'll stay stuck. The mindset you need can only be built from the inside out. You have to look at yourself squarely in the mirror and admit that while you didn't choose the conditions you were born into, you alone shape how you respond to them from this day forward. It's an uncomfortable truth, but a liberating one once you fully embrace it. From that solid foundation of personal responsibility, you can start dismantling the disempowering beliefs and thought loops that have held you back. The negative self-talk, the fear, the doubts, the excuses, those old tapes have to go. It will take discipline, consistency, and commitment. Reprogramming your mindset is much harder than programming it was in the first place, but you can't let discomfort stop you. Lean into it. That's where the growth is happening. Every time you catch yourself slipping into an old negative thought pattern, forcefully crowd it out. Flood your mind with affirmations of what you want to be true instead. Tell yourself, I am capable. I can do this. Obstacles are opportunities. Say it out loud if you have to. Over time, the repetition builds new neural pathways. Your mindset starts changing at the deepest level. What once felt like you were faking it until you make it becomes just how you operate by default. Of course, thoughts alone aren't enough. You have to translate the new mindset into consistent action. Start building new habits and routines that reinforce the beliefs you want to internalize. Sign up for that class. Apply for that job you've been putting off. Speak up next time you'd usually stay silent. Action breeds more action. At first, it will be taxing to override the inertia of who you were. Change always involves friction, but don't avoid the things that stretch your comfort zone. That's where the real growth happens. Embrace the inevitable discomfort as part of the transformative process. You're literally rewiring the circuitry of your mind and building new muscles in the process. Of course, it's going to feel hard at first, but as you keep pushing, it gets easier and easier. One day, you look back and realize just how much you've evolved. There's no final destination in developing a powerful mindset because the journey itself is what matters most. Every day holds new opportunities to strengthen that mental muscle, to solidify faith in yourself, to vanquish limiting fears and doubts, to step more into your potential. Be proactive. Don't wait until adversity strikes to start building your mental resilience. Do the hard work now to develop the mindset that can roll with any punch that life throws. Challenges are inevitable, but with the right preparation, you can rise above them. It's like my friend John used to say about bodybuilding. If you only train the major muscle groups, you'll have glaring weaknesses. But if you train everything with no weak links, you become a powerhouse. And mindset works the same way. You can't pick and choose which areas to work on. A strong mindset requires total commitment. The greatest opportunity for personal growth often comes bundled inside the biggest threats. A crisis can either be a breaking point or a breakthrough turning point. But mindset determines which path you take. With a strong, empowered outlook, that adversity becomes an awakening. Developing mental strength doesn't mean never feeling fear, doubt, or discomfort. Those are natural human responses. It means feeling those things, yet making a conscious choice to act according to what you want rather than what you're afraid of. At the end of the day, that's what separates those who only dream about doing big things from those who actually do them. The dreamers let their mindset wither away under the weight of their narratives, fears, and stories. But the doers nurture a mindset so powerful and resilient that impedes their progress. If your ambition is to live an extraordinary life, there's no way around the work of fortifying your mindset. You can't put a garden spade shovel to the possibilities ahead with the mind of a kid, pulling you back toward the familiar and comfortable. This isn't something to be worked on for a few weeks, then move on. It's a lifelong commitment to continually expanding your mental edge, to leveling yourself up from the inside out, day by day, year by year. Personal growth is the only sustainable competitive advantage. So let today be the turning point. Decide right here, and now that you're taking full ownership of your mindset moving forward, come what may, promise yourself, I will do the hard work. I will push through discomfort. I will become more than I've been. Don't wait for perfect circumstances, motivation, or a Ray pep talk to get started. As I always say, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. So start right now. Start where you are. Start solidifying the mindset that will let you go confidently toward your biggest ambitions. At the end of your life, no one gets to judge but you whether you made the most of your potential. You're the one who has to live with your regrets or sense of fulfillment. So do the hard work now to build the unstoppable mindset that lets you live with no regrets. Each day, wake up and pour effort into expanding your mental limits a little more. Starve the doubts, excuses, and fears. Feed the ambition, the self-belief, the perseverance. No one can do that inner work for you as much as you'd like them to. In that spirit, I'll leave you with a final thought. Why not you? Why can't you be among those rare few who cultivate the mental toughness to not just dream of greatness, but manifest it against all odds? The path isn't easy, but human history is studded with examples of ordinary individuals achieving extraordinary impact through sheer mindset alone. Developing that unstoppable inner strength is how you join their ranks. The choice to do so is yours. But potential is there, waiting to be unlocked. No one can give you that gift but yourself. So go inward, get to work, and force yourself to build the strong mindset that will shape the rest of your life's possibilities. The choice to develop an unstoppable mindset is yours. But I know how easy it is to let that choice slip away amidst the hustle and demands of daily life. Our modern world is full of distractions and fleeting gratifications that can slowly erode your commitment over time. That's why you have to be so vigilant in protecting the precious mental progress you've made. Guarding your mindset has to become a top priority each and every day. Otherwise, all your hard-earned inner strength can start chipping away without you even realizing. Negative people, toxic influences, consumption of junk media, and entertainment. These all act like termites, boring into the foundations you've built. One moment of letting your guard down and those termites can undo years of work on your mindset. Don't let that happen. Once you've empowered yourself through the difficulty of reprogramming your mental operating system, your new obligation is to preserve and nurture that hard-won growth at all costs. Be fiercely discriminating about what and who you let into your conscious mind. Audit your inputs and surroundings with utmost scrutiny. Does this person, this experience, this content truly serve your highest hopes and ambitions? Or might it subtly introduce disempowering thoughts and beliefs? You have to become a ruthless editor of your mindset's environment. View every influence through that filter. If it doesn't meet the highest standards for aligning with your vision, cut it out without hesitation or room for compromise. Your mindset's integrity has to be your most cherished asset. This uncompromising approach extends to the words and stories you tell yourself too. The little private conversations we have with ourselves each day matter immensely. Those internal narratives can either propel you forward or sabotage your every effort. Become a vigilant gatekeeper of your self-talk. Whenever you catch yourself slipping into doubtful, disempowering monologues, hit the brakes hard. Interrupt that toxic pattern immediately and redirect your mind with laser focus. Replace those limiting tapes with affirmations of your deepest abilities. It's an endless process of vigilance, catching those negative narratives over and over again and rescripting them. Left unchecked, they'll burrow back into the crevices of your psyche and undo your mindset's progress from the inside out. Give them an inch, and they'll take a mile. Trust me on that. This eternal vigilance is the price you must pay to keep your mindset uncompromisingly strong over the long haul. It takes tremendous self-discipline, but there's no other way. Half measures simply won't cut it. You're the keeper of your mindset's integrity. Treat that role with the intense sobriety and commitment it deserves 24/7. Because the path of least resistance is always a gradual slippage back toward disempowerment. Your role is to push forward, unflaggingly, in fortifying that inner locus of control. As you wage that inner battle, nurture the habit of constantly taking stock of your mindset's trajectory. Self-reflection and radical honesty with yourself become core skills. You have to always be auditing whether your thoughts, habits, and choices truly align with your highest aspirations. If you see recurring patterns and influences pulling you off course, be ruthless in course correcting. Don't make excuses or rationalize misalignments away. Bypass your mind's ability to come up with undisciplined logic for compromise. Stick to your standards without wavering. You're the architect of the mental feed you give your brain. Be fiercely intentional about every piece of that mental construction process. Don't let limiting beliefs and habits slip back in through the cracks until suddenly your whole mindset is eroding. This is a never-ending process of refinement. Just as an art masterpiece is sculpted through thousands of careful chisel strokes over time, so too must you endlessly chip away at your mindset. Keep reshaping and buffing that rough mental clay until it manifests your grandest visions. Of course, this inner work is often unglamorous and invisible to the external world. That's why it's so easy to let the commitment lapse. No one sees the daily inner battles you fight to stay on track. There are no cheering crowds or external accountability. But the results of either persisting or faltering at this inner work will be glaringly evident over time. Look around at your life. The fruits of either a diligently honed mindset or an undisciplined one are inescapable. The results of consistently strengthening or neglecting your mindset become plain to see over time. And often, that evidence smacks you in the face during the most turbulent storms of life. When you hit those extreme challenges and adversities, the depth of your mental strength gets laid bare. We all go through periods of intense difficulty, disappointment, and feelings of being beaten down or stalled out. Maybe it's a job loss, a broken relationship, a financial crisis, or a catastrophic setback that derails your plans. In those moments, the temptation to wallow in self-pity, despair, and disempowerment gets almost overwhelming. But this is precisely when the work you've done to cultivate mental toughness pays off in spades. Those with a strong, resilient mindset handle these make-or-break situations in an entirely different way. See, the weak-minded instantly plunge into a victim narrative during tough times. Why me? It's not fair. This always happens. Their locus of control is inherently external, leaving them buffeted by circumstances outside their influence. They descend into cynicism, excuses, and staying stuck in the mire. But for those who have truly done the inner work, personal crises are catalysts for even greater growth and tenacity. Their mindset stubbornly refuses to make them a victim of the situation. While they may feel disappointment or frustration, their locus of control remains firmly internal. This allows them to pivot quickly, taking stock of the new circumstances and adjusting their approach. Rather than getting swallowed by the storm, they search for creative openings to navigate around, over or through it. Their mental discipline helps them isolate emotions from actions, always staying solution-oriented regardless of feeling. When you see someone handling immense adversity with grace, plowing forward calmly yet dynamically, that's the power of an unshakable mindset at work. While those around them get derailed and thrown off course, the strong-minded find renewed motivation, grittiness, and resourcefulness in the heat of the challenge. Experiences like this harden your mental armor. They show you concretely how your commitment to developing this unstoppable mindset pays dividends in life's biggest make-or-break scenarios. You survive onslaughts that break others, coming out more empowered and hungry on the other side. Over time, a track record of small and large victories compounds into an unshakable sense of self-belief and personal capacity. You start approaching new obstacles and uphill battles with legitimate excitement instead of trepidation, because you've proven you can handle anything thrown your way and emerge stronger. This bone-deep confidence acts as a tailwind for your ambition and drive. You're no longer held back by the fears, doubts, and limiting beliefs that shackle most people. Your powerful mindset confers the courage to act boldly on your biggest dreams without hesitation. And the successes start accumulating from there, a positive spiral feeding on itself. Bigger accomplishments lead to even greater self-belief, which breeds even more ambitious actions and results. This upward trajectory becomes a self-perpetuating cycle, propelling you to scale new heights. Now, I don't want to paint too rosy a picture here. Developing a genuinely indomitable mindset remains one of the biggest challenges you can undertake. It takes not just intense effort, but a near obsessive degree of vigilance over the long haul. In truth, this is a lifelong commitment without any final destination or finish line to cross. There is no end point where you suddenly have an unbreakable mindset. It's a constant process of nurturing and strengthening that mental edge each and every day, month after month, year after year. Even the strongest minded among us hit low ebbs, or mini funks now and then. You can't avoid them entirely. What matters is refusing to let those temporary downswings blossom into relapses of bad habits or limiting patterns. Get back on track swiftly without beating yourself up over temporary lapse. Because losing that eternal vigilance over your inner world is what tends to undo even the hardest mental work over time. We've all witnessed or personally experienced the slow deterioration of hard-earned breakthroughs that gets triggered by complacency. The human mind is incredibly persistent and resourceful at recreating disempowering beliefs and patterns the moment you take your foot off the gas pedal. So you simply can't let up, as exhausting as that eternal pressure may feel. I'm reminded of a quote from the ancient Stoic philosopher Seneca. You must persevere and fortify your courage in every possible way. It is safeguarding for you against the disgrace of frightened and abject old. See, the strength of your mindset doesn't just determine the boldness and impact of your life's work. Just as crucially, it shapes whether your twilight years are spent with dignity and fulfillment or regret and bitterness over potential you let slip away. So many people hit retirement or old age only to realize they've lost the edge and hunger that once drove them. Adrift in nostalgia and haunted by the specter of unlived ambitions, their waning years become an exercise in coping through resignation. Some fight ferociously to rekindle the fire in life's final chapters and cling to a sense of purpose. But by that point, the limiting narratives and ingrained patterns have hardened into almost impenetrable layers of mental scar tissue. It's too late to rehabilitate the mindset needed to really thrive. Don't let that fate befall you. Build the mental armor and discipline now, so you enter the latter stages with that youthful spark still burning bright. With the wisdom of years wedded to an unstoppable mindset, you become a force of nature, leaving an undeniable final mark on this world. Because for all the motivational pep talks about going for it, the brutal reality is that developing a truly empowered mindset is one of the most arduous and relentless tasks any human can take on. The internal resistance you'll need to overcome dwarfs most external obstacles in its immensity. That's precisely why so few ever embark on this journey of mental re-engineering, constantly making excuses to postpone it, and why even fewer sustain the eternal intensity required to see it through to its final realization. But those rare souls who do go the distance, who defy the gravitational pull of fear, doubt, and inertia to hammer away relentlessly at their self-imposed limitations. They enter the rarefied air of greats who've bent the arc of history through sheer force of unbreakable determination and vision. Looking back from my current vantage point, I can attest that going all in on this mindset work from such an early age was quite simply the most important decision and commitment of my lifetime. No amount of external tactics or strategies could substitute for girding my inner locus of control. There were stretches when the slog felt unbearable, when complacency seemed like the rational choice, when critics and naysayers tried to convince me to stop wasting so much energy on this esoteric inner work. But something inside me knew it was the main unlock behind everything I wanted to create. That knowing hunger for impact kept me fixated on honing my mental prowess with near monomania. Sure, I hit stumbles and stagnations like anyone, but I refused to completely fall off the path. And thank I did, because the successes and fulfilling experiences that mindset has enabled for me vastly outweigh the struggles it took along the journey. It crystallized my resolve amid so many white-knuckle moments when quitting seemed like the easier path. These days, I operate from a place of calm authority and grounded confidence that I know damn well I wouldn't possess if I hadn't gone all in on this regimen. My mental armor is essentially unbreakable at this point. I quite literally have no inhibitions left to slow me down. The biggest obstacles and crises just don't faze me the way they do most people. My mindset has been conditioned like a raw lump of coal compressed into an impenetrable diamond over eons. I exude an unwavering mental toughness and buoyancy that resonates deeply with others. This hardened mindset has become my personal force field against any external threats, doubts, or limiting circumstances. I walk through this world like a silent juggernaut, steadily flicking away any attempted impediments that get flung my way. And that's really the crux of why this mental work has been so invaluable. It has freed me to act boldly and decisively on my biggest ambitions without getting bogged down in fear, hesitation, or paralysis from others' skepticism or criticism. Those external mind viruses simply can't get a foothold in my psyche at this point. After decades of systematically fortifying my inner game and ejecting disempowering mental patterns, I operate from a basis of unshakable self-belief and calm determination. Major setbacks and hurdles that would derail most people for months or years barely slow my stride these days. I simply adjust, reassess, and rebound at a wholly different energetic rhythm. It's honestly difficult for me to relate to those who remain constrained by mental fragility and lack of emotional mastery over themselves. Their hairpin internal pendulum swings of motivation and despondency seem so unbalanced and unnecessary from my vantage point. But I can't judge them too harshly, as I was once stuck in similar mental muddling before I embarked on this path. The willpower to forcefully re-engineer your mindset is simply not a switch you can easily flip for most. It requires dismantling deep-rooted patterns and narratives that often stretch back to your earliest childhood programming and environmental influences. And we all know just how stubbornly entrenched and persistent those neural grooves can be. So I have immense empathy for how grueling and tedious the work of retraining your mindset can feel, especially in the beginning trenches. It's thankless, invisible labor lacking any immediate gratification or external reinforcement. You're simply trudging against the steady internal resistance of years' worth of mental inertia and ingrained doubt patterns rearing their head. But just like building physical stamina through grueling conditioning, the same principle applies to developing mental stamina. Those initial 10 rudimentary push-ups leave you heaving, drenched in sweat. Yet with consistency over time, you eventually crank out 50 reps while barely breaking a sweat. The body's capabilities expand massively through that no pain, no gain process. Mindset training follows the same arc. Those shaky first reps of interrupting negative self-talk and fear narratives feel draining beyond belief. But stick with the program, and eventually those affirmations and constructive thoughts flow like breathing. New neuromusculature has been forged where there was once mental atrophy. The process isn't necessarily painful in the physical sense, but make no mistake, it provokes deep emotional friction and internal resistance as you slowly chip away at the deeply grooved patterns comprising your former identity. There's a reason so few people have the stamina and fortitude to sustain re-engineering their mindset over the long haul. But those hardy few who do endure that gnawing discomfort, embracing it as part of the transformative process, they eventually break through to a new plane of personal power and unbreakable resolve that 99% of people simply can't fathom or access.